Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is the ABM All By Myself podcast. It's episode 29. If you're wondering why I sound so subdued, you can tell. You don't just see the thumbnail, guys. I am strung out. I am hardcore addicted to 7-Eleven runs recently. I am going to get into that in just a minute. But before I do that, first, the number 29 is important to me, okay? I got to give it its shine. I was born on June 29th. If that's your birthday too, you got to leave it in the comments. I'm always looking to expand my network of birthday buddies, individuals that I could potentially throw a joint birthday party with. Nothing would be radder. Unless maybe you have a different birthday, that could be radder, because you can comment what your birthday is and let the universe bring to you a new onslaught of birthday friends via the comments. And I'm offering the platform, but really you guys give the platform to me by all the liking, commenting, subscribing, and ringing that notification bell, a ding a dong, to stay up to date every single day when these episodes do go live. Fine print almost every single day. So let's just get right into it. Why am I going into 7-Eleven so much? Let me give you a little bit of context, because it did feel like the universe wanted me to do this, and I'm going to tell you why. So it was on Friday night, this past Friday, and that sounds like a song. This past Friday. I don't know. What song am I thinking about that just hit my head real quick? I can't think of it, and I can't possibly go off on another tangent. I can't do that to you. So it was Friday. Sandy was actually out of town over the course of the weekend. So me, Walter, and Harper, we wanted to get out on the town, and there's a dog park, a new one pretty close to the house that we've been enjoying. And if you go after like 8 o'clock, you're typically only going to run into a few people. So you will be able to there's 2 of the fenced-in dog parks. You will be able to have one of these on for yourself, and that's my goal. I like to walk around on the inside of them. I don't want to have to manage my dogs necessarily while I'm there. They have a good enough time between the 2 of them, and I just want them to experience that freedom. So we're in the dog park, Friday night. We get there about 8 o'clock. And we started heading out about 9:30. We stay a long time, I walk like 3 or 4 miles. I wait until the dogs are exhausted. And this night in particular, it was just us. But as we were leaving, one of the locals that does hang out there during the time frame I typically go over there was pulling up, and it's this older lady. She has a husky, and she just plays catch with the husky on the side of the dog park in the grassy area and doesn't even go into the fenced area, right? So she's pulling in, and I'm starting to pull out. But as I'm pulling out, I notice a kind of sketchy car coming in, and I'm not one to judge necessarily. However, I do try to be cautious. I do try to be aware of my environment. And I thought, well, should I stay here just to see how this plays out? This lady is a local. She's the homie. I want to make sure that I got her back if needed. But I decided, I'm going to go to 7-Eleven real quick. It's right up the street. And then I'm going to drive right back by the dog park on my way home just to make sure she's good. I'm sure she will be, but I had this gut feeling that I just had to go to 7-Eleven and then come back and check on her, right? I wasn't going to go to 7-Eleven that night. That's why I'm saying this. So I get to 7-Eleven and I'm just going to get something to drink, So I'm going back to the refrigerated area, and along the end caps, I see these little die-cast cars. And what I mean by that is like little Hot Wheels types cars. And they have 7-Eleven branding on them. They say limited on them. And typically when things say limited, they're not really going to be valuable. They just want you to think that. But so I didn't pay it much mind, So I leave 7-Eleven. I drive back by the dog park. Everything is cool. Everything's gravy. And I get back home. And I'm just hanging out, and just time is flying by. I was actually editing the new Couple Goals podcast, which will not be up when you're hearing this at first, but it might be. It's going to be going live Tuesday, tomorrow, I think, which is the 14th of November. So if you're watching this and it's already the 14th, make sure to go check out Sandy's channel for that Couple Goals episode that I was editing during this story that I'm telling. So I'm editing the video, and it's getting late, and it's maybe like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and I think I'm going to try to go to sleep so I can wake up early the next day, and I can get some stuff knocked out, and then I do have plans later on in the day on Saturday. So I cannot go to sleep. It ends up being like 2 in the morning, and my mind just starts racing, and what really helps you go to sleep is Googling things and going down rabbit holes. So I decided to Google 7-Eleven Hot Wheels limited edition car. And what came up bamboozled me. I saw pictures of these little cars that I had just seen earlier at this 7-Eleven, and they were selling for like 40, 50, 60, upwards of $100 for a pair of them. And I thought, holy shit. So I did some further research, and I was looking down Reddit threads talking about how people were going into like 40 stores in a day. They're hunting for these guys. They can't find them at all. The people that have found them are getting congratulated, and they're getting bigged up, and people are offering to buy these things off of them. And I'm thinking, holy shit, this is exciting. This is the kind of like thing I want to be involved in. So I just get up. I couldn't be more awake at this point. So obviously Googling, I was being facetious. It's not a good way to get more tired. It will more than likely wake you up like it did to me. But I get up, I get myself put together. I'm wearing like swim trunk type shorts, a sweatshirt with no shirt on underneath it, and shoes with no socks, just to give you an idea of the swag I was rocking that night. So 2:30 in the morning, I go up to this 7-Eleven, and luckily I thought, man, I really missed out earlier. Someone's going to notice these things before I go back and have them all bought out. Fortunately for me, they were all still there. So I go back, I get all of these toy cars, and I walk them up to the front, and I ask the gentleman who's the clerk, I say, hey, do you have any more of these in the back? And he's like, why do you want to buy these? I said, I didn't really want to share with him, because what if he does and he doesn't know the value of these things? I guess it's kind of being selfish, but I didn't want to tip him off, I don't know. So I told him, oh, no big deal. If you have more in the back, that'd be cool. I just want to get them as gifts. So he tells me that he does not have any in the back. They only received like one box of these things, and this is all that they had. So I'm thinking, holy shit, everything is like they're telling me. It's like once I buy these, nobody else is going to be able to get them. So as fucked up as that is, I did leave like 2 or 3 of them on the rack, but I bought at least 10 of these cars. And then there's 2 other 7-Elevens within, 10, 20 minutes of my house. So I go to another 7-Eleven, and they're actually closed. I've never been to a 7-Eleven that was closed, but they were closed for like a 10-minute break. So I am literally standing out front of this door of a 7-Eleven. I got a little toy car in my hands because I want to ask them if they have any of these things, because according to the Reddit links or the Reddit thread, sometimes the stores don't even know that they have them. They're in the back in boxes, or if they're just not familiar with everything that they have, sometimes having a picture or the actual product is easier. They might recognize it. So I am this almost 40-year-old man looking relatively, not homeless, but I'm not looking like necessarily stylish out in front of a 7-Eleven at almost 3 o'clock in the morning with a toy car in my hand. So finally, I'm able to get the gentleman's attention that was over in the corner mopping, and I just hold up the toy and I say, hey, do you have any of these? And he says, yes, I do. And I think, oh my gosh, I'm hitting pay dirt here, guys. This is like retirement account type hunting that I'm doing right now, or the treasures that I'm finding per se. So he brings out 3 of them and says, this is all I got. So he lets me in for a second. I buy these 3 cars. I go to one other 7-Eleven that does not have them. And I say, I'm going to call it a night. I got to get some sleep because I will be up all night. I got shit to do tomorrow. I got to finish editing this video now. And so I just went home. But I will tell you, I did research for the next like hour and a half, and I found something out that was very crucial. Something that I missed on the first round of research that I wish I hadn't. So 7-Eleven has these things, and what they are exactly is 7-Eleven AW die-cast limited edition cars. And they do it like once a year or so. This company, American World or Auto World, they make these little cars like Hot Wheels, and they do a limited run for 7-Elevens. And, right now it's happening. However, they get around 45 pieces per store, and one of those pieces to 3 of those pieces is going to be what they call an ultra red. What that means is they have white wheels and a white bottom. They have red coloring on the actual car, and these are actually the ones that are worth a lot of money. The other ones that I got, just the standard ones, they're worth a little something. I think I paid like $9 each, $8.50 each for these things. You can get $20 pretty much all day online. So yes, there is a little come up there, but not much, right? And I was hoping that every one of them that I just bought was going to be worth like $100, and in the future, maybe thousands of dollars. That was not looking like the case though. So now what I had to do is look through all the ones I bought and see if any of them, because I wasn't aware of this, had the white wheels with the white bottom, which I'm sure one of them would. I thought, man, I got like 12 of these things. I can't imagine one of them not being a limited release. However, none of them were a limited release. I had nothing but the standard ones, which will now become pretty much gifts for the most part. They'll have a fun story behind them, so there'll be a gift with a gift of a story. However, I was not done yet. I needed to get my hands on one of these exclusive ones, if not as many as I possibly could, and that led me into the next day. So the next day I wake up and I'm really just focusing on getting this video edited, and I didn't even wake up until like 1 p.m. I gotta leave my house around I woke up at like 11 or so. I gotta leave my house by 2 o'clock at latest because we're actually we were filming the Shane Dawson podcast on Saturday. I wanted to stop by my mom's house first. I was gonna leave the dogs there, hang out with her for a bit, go film, go back, pick up my dogs, and head my ass back home, right? So that was the plan. So I'm busy. I'm not able to go to any 7-Elevens during the day like I'm craving, but I end up getting to my mom's house. We hang out for a bit. We end up filming the podcast. Great time. I can't wait for you guys to see that episode. I don't want to spoil any surprises. But then after the podcast, I go to pick up my dogs, and from my mom's house to where I live, you can make the drive in about an hour and 30 minutes. If you don't get sidetracked, you don't got to get gas, you don't have to use the restroom, anything like that, you could do it going steady speed limit in an hour and a half. However, on my way back, I just wanted to go into as many 7-Elevens as I could. And I would guesstimate that I went into at least 12 7-Elevens. It took me 4 hours to get home instead of an hour and a half. So you do the math on that. And one of the best stories, and actually the only time I found one of these rare ones, was I was in the San Fernando Valley. I'm not going to give you the exact location. I'm going to chalk it up to maybe the individual that I dealt with was just having a really bad night. But you let me know in the comments and let me know what you would have done. So the typical process of walking into a 7-Eleven and looking for one of these ultra rare cars is I started by walking in with an actual car that I have. However, I started realizing that people thought I was trying to steal them, because at this point I had gone into about 7-Elevens that night and all of them had the cars. Unfortunately, however, none of them had the ultra red rare one with the white tires and all that good stuff. So now I'm learning, okay, just go in with my phone, show them a picture, and they'll tell me where they're at, and maybe they'll even have them behind the counter. So I'm walking into this store, specifically the one where the story revolves around, and the clerk is pretty busy, so I walk around the retail location. I'm looking. They're typically on an end cap or by the candy, or sometimes they'll have like a little stand with Funko Pops and shit like that, and I'm not seeing them anywhere. Finally, the clerk is pretty open, nobody in front of him. So I walk up and I say, good night, or whatever the case may be. I greet him. I show him the picture and I say, by any chance, do you have these? And he says, I do. He's like, but just so you know, tonight we're only cash. We only accept cash. So I said, if you have what I'm looking for, no big deal. Let me see what you got. So he points behind him and he has a couple of them hanging like right next to the cigarettes. And then he points at the ground at a couple of boxes. And I hadn't seen an actual box of these yet. So I was freaking out. I was thinking, holy shit, he has no idea what he has. He has a box that has not even been opened yet. I am about to find this ultra rare limited edition one. So I asked him if I could see the boxes, and he's kind of hesitant at first. He's kind of acting weird about it, but it's okay. He ends up giving me the boxes. The one that I thought was unopened was actually open, but it looked like it was still full. And sure enough, I'm looking through it and I find the one with the white tires. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the journey could end. However, it will never end as long as they exist. But at least for that night, I feel like I've accomplished something. I actually found one of these. It's making it all worth it now. So I go to the ATM, I get $20 out because they're like $9, and I go back up to the cash register and I give the guy the $20, and then he gives me $5 back. And I say, well, that's kind of weird, sir, because these things only cost $8.50. And he said, well, actually, they cost $8.75. I said, well, you only gave me $5.25, so it seems as though you owe me $6. I was like, is there any way I can get that so I could leave? And he said, oh, no, well, the boss told me to do that. And I said, whoa, explain exactly what you mean here. What do you mean the boss told you to do that? He said, yeah, the boss told me. He said, I know what you got. And I said, what do you mean you know what I got? He said, I know what this is. So now I feel like he's trying to extort me for $6 because I'm buying a car that he knows is worth money. I'm thinking this is fucking absurd. So I let him know that no, it doesn't matter what I got. What I got is not enough change. So I need you to give me the $6 and let's just call it a night, please. And he said, look, we have people that come in here and take stuff and don't pay. That's what happens. And I said, so wait, you're telling me that because you have people come in here to your establishment and steal from you, it's okay for you to steal from me, the customer, because you haven't given me all my money yet and it doesn't seem like you want to. And he said, no, it's not like that. And I said, well, why don't I have all of the money in my hand yet? I don't understand. And I'm standing there for a few minutes at this point, and I'm not going to repeat exactly what I said, but I did get a little bit upset. I let him know that it was kind of important that I got the rest of my change back. I don't remember exactly, but it got very uncomfortable there for a minute. And I thought, wow, this guy at 7-Eleven who works here is actually trying to steal $6 from me. The whole thing felt weird. I guess the reason why he was only accepting cash was because the system had just gone down, and I went into 7-Elevens after that and they were all only accepting cash too. So that was legitimate, but it just made me feel like because I asked for the cars, you know what I'm looking for, I'm going to give you cash and you're going to give me the wrong change, but what am I going to say? Because the car's worth money. It's worth a lot more than the extra $6 that I'm missing out on. But luckily enough, cooler heads prevailed. You know, I wasn't just some mad guy who was trying to get beat up or beat somebody up. I was trying to be, more conversive with him about it. He gave me the rest of the change. But guys, has that ever happened to you? Have you ever gone somewhere and gotten the wrong change? Have you ever felt like someone was trying to take advantage of you and telling you that maybe you gave him a 10 when you really gave him a 20? I mean, it's just really not cool. And if anything, it makes me ultra appreciate all of you and everybody around the world that works in customer service that actually cares about the customer's experience. But I digress, guys. We are talking about my 7-Eleven addiction, something I almost got robbed because of at a 7-Eleven by a 7-Eleven employee, and I cannot give it up. I've been constantly looking at videos, and it goes way beyond this 7-Eleven car. I didn't even realize that there's Hot Wheels that they put out on the at Target, at Walmart, at all these places that have like a little bit of a difference to them, and they call them Chase or Super Chase. They got treasure hunts, they got super treasure hunts, and it's opened up this world that I'm actually pretty excited about. I think it's now I've realized that it's just something to do fun in passing, because for like one night or for 2 nights, I was pretty addicted to going into as many 7-Elevens as I could. A matter of fact, yesterday I picked up Sandy from the airport, and I passed a couple 7-Elevens, and it was actually a challenge to not stop at them. If I wasn't on a deadline, I don't know if I would have had the restraint to not go into 7-Eleven. But I'm feeling good about it today. So in case you're worried, no, I'm not going to ruin my whole life over this. But I would highly recommend looking it up, because if you're just looking for like a fun scavenger hunt type situation, and I mean, it really is about like what the YouTube algorithm is right now. It's about someone buying a mystery box, watching them unbox it, see if they came up or not, watching somebody go into every single location and seeing what happens, or just to be able to vicariously experience that through the video. But if you want to do your own cool thing like that, look into it. Look up Hot Wheels Treasure Hunt. Go into your local 7-Eleven, see if they got these limited edition diecast cars, and just enjoy yourself. That's going to be it for this episode. Sorry I'm talking so aggressively. It's just when 7-Eleven comes up, guys, you already know what's going to happen. I'm going to get hyped up. But on that note, I hope you have a great rest of your night. And as always, God bless.